ever since I started this YouTube channel, all those years ago, all that last month ago, I have been reinvigorated to read, which is so slay, but also I'm treating it like I've never been a reader, because I've always been a reader. I started reading when I was like very young. My biggest claim to fame for a long time was that I read the entire Harry Potter series when I was 8 years old. Is that a thing to brag about? I have no idea, but it's what I did. I did brag about that. But anyway, I've got that back. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm reading. Yeah, I've been reading this book. Yeah, I read before bed. But anyway, so I've been reading a lot and it's very exciting. It's very, oh, it feels good. It feels good. But I just finished reading The Bandit Queens. What an amazing book. I don't know, I didn't have super high expectations for it because I'm not really a like a contemporary reader, if that's what it is. Like, I'm more of a fantasy, you know, fantasy, sci-fi, stuff like that, not like day-to-day lives. But these girls, yeah, bonobos, the monkey, however you say it. So it's a book about this woman who is accused of murdering her husband, and it's set 5 years after she murders her husband. But the trick was that she didn't murder her husband. He just left, and their like village thinks that she murdered him, and so they like cast her away. They say, oh, your name is mixed with dirt. But then after she's been shunned 5 years later, the women in her loan group come to her and then they go, hey girl, I kind of want my husband gone. Remove my nose ring, they say, which is such a slay way to say it because they're Indian, and they take their nose rings out when their husband dies. Devastating. What if you think you look good? It's just a man. But anyway. Anyway, yeah, the other women from the loan group come and they say, hey girl, I want you to murder my husband now. You've done it once before, I know you can do it again. And she's like, and then the story progresses. And I don't know what it was. Again, it was a contemporary, but it just piqued my interest. It took me forever to read. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed it. I took it really slow, very nice. Anyway, loved it. Very, very much recommend. For who, I don't know, just read it probably. It's a very good book. I don't know what I'm gonna start reading on my Kindle. Because at the moment I've had one book going per thing. So I've had one audiobook, one physical book, and one ebook, which is crazy. Since I got this thing, I have not been reading physical books. On my reading journal, at the beginning when I got the bookshelves, and I color coded depending on what the type of book it was, all the one color because it's only been ebooks. But I have been also getting back into audiobooks, finally, you know, finally. I just finished a study in drowning as well. Very good. Very sort of, I don't know, the vibes were there. It was very, is it magical? Is it not magical? Very dark academia, a little bit of cheeky romance, which I didn't mind. Sometimes it's annoying, but it felt fine, yeah. But yeah, that was also very good. It's about this girl who wants, it's sort of set in an alternate Earth, kind of. Like it's set in an alternate Earth, so kind of similar but different at the same time. It's this architecture student who can't go to the literature college where she wants to be because she's a woman. It's not really about that, but she's not allowed to because the author, her favorite author, which is what the book is about, said women cannot write. And yeah, so she gets this architecture scholarship thing where she can go to the dead author's house and redesign his house. And I'm not doing it justice at all. There's so much happens. She's also haunted by the Fairy King. She's haunted by the Fairy King. It's not a very fast-paced book. It's very like, we've got to figure out the mystery sort of deal, but it's very good. I would also recommend that. So Assigned Reading, Study and Drowning, Bandit Queens. Please read on. But yeah, I was gonna do a Sunday reset thing today, but I kind of did most of it yesterday, so you get what you get. So I've just got back from the library. I picked up some new reads. I picked up some new reads. It's been a long time since I've read a physical book. I think I've just hit my reading goal. Hallelujah, 30 books. I haven't read that much since COVID. Oops. Haven't read that much since COVID. I'm very excited about that, but it has all been on my Kindle, so it's been a long time since I've read a physical book. I think I've only read one this year, maybe one. Can I remember what it is? No, I can't, but nonetheless I went a little crazy and I did get 4 books, so who knows if we'll get through them or if I'll have to see if I can get it on my Kindle instead. Oopsies. It wasn't looking good in terms of finding books because I did go pretty late. The library was about to close. I only had like half an hour left. I thought that would be plenty of time. No, the announcement comes over and they're like 15 minutes till closing, and I'm like, I haven't got anything yet. But lo and behold, in the last 15 minutes found 4 excellent books. You know why? Because I got out of the YA section. Who would have thought? I got out of the YA section, progress was made. I love reading YA, but I just need something a little bit more now, you know. Unfortunately, you wouldn't think, me not being a young adult. Why do they call it young adult when you're a teenager? Anyway, so the books that I got King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. I have read, I think, all her others. I can't confirm whether I read the final Ruin and Rising book. I remember reading it. Do I remember what happened in it? No. Will I look it up? No. That's none of my business, really. It was so long ago. I've moved on. I'm over it. But yeah, so this one is about some of the characters that show up in the, I think it's called the Shadow and Bone trilogy and the Six of Crows duology, which obviously I'm just a girl. I love the Six of Crows duology. But this has some of the best characters, not all of them, but some of the best characters in it. I think I started trying to read this and then it just wasn't happening. But give it a go. Maybe I will be reinvigorated by the physical book. Who knows? But anyway, so it's about 3 of the characters from those 2 different worlds and they come together and it's about, I suppose, what they do. I know that Nikolai Lantsov ends on a boat, I think he starts on a boat, which I love a little pirate story. I love it. The second one we've got is What You Are Looking For Is in the Library. I saw it and I was like, am I gonna fall for this clickbait? Yes, I am. It's a translated story by Michiko Ayama. I'm gonna go with that. A translated story about a person who works in the bookstore, and can just tell what you're looking for when you walk in, which, you know, if you have that ability, let me know. I would love to hear it. And the librarian is able to like talk to these characters and tell them, hey, that's what you're looking for, here's how to do this. I assume, like, I know it's not by the same author, but I assume it's like the Before the Coffee Gets Cold vibe, which I haven't read. I started reading it. I'm sure it gets good, but not in the first bit. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. A little clickbaity, as I said, because I was, believe it or not, I was in the library and I saw this little spine. I said, what are you looking for? What is in the library? What you were looking for is in the library. But yeah, so that should be a cutesy little read, because I've been reading lots of like crazy stuff lately. Not crazy stuff, but like fantasy and like murder mystery, and maybe a nice little library book would be nice. Now this next one is Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reid. I feel like I've read something by Ava Reid, but in the front of the book, did I Goodreads it? Again, no I didn't. But it says The Wolf and the Woodsman, which I feel like has just come out, but maybe I'm thinking of a different book. Yeah, 2022. But I'm sure I've read something by her, but maybe not. But anyway, it's about two witch sisters. I think it's like an urban fantasy. Love. I think the first book of the year that I read was I can't remember what it's called, but it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling by the same Olivia Blake. I can't remember what the book is called, but she also wrote The Atlas Six again, which I haven't read yet. So what's that got to do with this? I don't know. Urban fantasy. But yeah, so this is about two sisters who live in the city and are shifting from magic to industry, and their father is overbearing, and she falls in love. I think a couple of these are going to have a romance subplot, which is fine. I don't love it. I just want to read a fantasy without people falling in love, but is what it is. That's right. Sometimes a subplot, I don't mind. But yeah, so that one should be good as well. I'm excited for all of these books. And the cover, isn't she beautiful? Just a gentle, oh, there's a snake on it. Love. Okay, and the final book we've got, which I feel like I've seen this around. Maybe it was a different one, but stunning. That's what I want to look like. But it's Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. It's about this orc woman who I believe she's wounded during a hunt for a powerful necromancer, packed off against her will to recuperate in the sleepy beach town of Merk. It sounds very like D&D. There's all these, like, that's a pug owl and that's a mouse with a coat on. So I'm getting big D&D vibes from it. She has to go work at a little bookstore. Again, very book based. It's fine. And she falls in love, and it's like cutesy little. Oh, now listen, it does say prequel, doesn't it? It does say prequel. Author of Legends and Lattes, that's it. That was big, like maybe a year ago, I think. Yeah, I knew I'd seen that orc around somewhere. High fantasy, first love, secondhand books. What more could you need? But yeah, so these are my books, as I have said. Cutesy. I'm excited to read them. I'm hoping and praying that I can overcome my Kindle. I don't have high hopes. Listen, I don't. And I did just start a book on there that's really drawn me in. It's one, oh, I'll tell you about it. I was like, I should wrap this up, but what the hell, I'll tell you about it. It's called One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. It is set in a fantasy world. Who's surprised? It's set in a fantasy world where there's an infection that causes people to have magic, and that is illegal. People aren't allowed to have magic. Amazing. What a good concept. A disease in a fantasy world. What? Literally more. That's everything I have ever wanted in a book. But yeah, so far it's good. It started off, I was really struggling to get into it. Like every word just blurred off the page, but I like sat down, I was like, I'm gonna start reading this, and now I'm into it. I keep thinking about it. It's very exciting. I can see sort of like a romance getting set up, I think. So slightly worried about that, but it is what it is. It's in every book that I've ever read. Every single book. But yes, it's very, very good so far. It's really hooked me. It's got sort of like, I'm not a big like fairy tale retelling person. I don't really like them, but this has got elements of that. Like it's got a little bit of Cinderella with the stepmother and going to like a palace, and she runs away from the palace. Yeah, it's got like little hints of that, but it's not the overarching thing so far. She hasn't left a shoe behind, thank God. But yeah, so hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully it doesn't lean too much into like a fairy tale thing, and maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But yeah, very good. Very good. I'm excited. I'm reading.